Hello and welcome to the Miscast table. I'm Måns.
And I'm Jonas, and today we're painting Start Collecting Boxes in less than 12 hours.
Yeah, and today I'm painting Flesh-eater Courts, but I'm gonna use them as my vampire court in Warhammer Fantasy 8th edition.
And I'm painting a bunch of Khorne demons for my Daemons of Khorne's army, also 8th edition. So, let's get into it.
Yeah. And maybe we should get into the reason of why we're doing this. First of all, we're kind of serial procrastinators. We're talking a long time about starting new armies, but we never really get around to it. So we figured that this would be a good way to...
Yeah, and kudos to yourself for setting this up. As you said, we've been meaning to do this for a long time. Never really gotten around to actually pulling the trigger and just doing it. We're not experienced painters, or would you disagree?
No, we're amateur painters, and you see all these amazing painters, Goobertown Hobbies and Squidmar and all these guys were incredibly skilled and talented. And then we have guys like us, like regular dudes. And is it possible for us to paint an army in less than 12 hours to a tabletop standard? So I guess we're gonna find out today.
Yeah.
And if you're wondering where we are, this is our new studio. This is what 100 subscribers can do, my friends. The 100 subscribers money. Let's talk about the rules of today. If we have any rules, this is just a fun thing we're doing, fun challenge. But we actually put the armies together before. They're already built, they're already primed.
Because we figured that if we don't do it beforehand, it's gonna cost us another 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah, it probably took somewhere around that.
I still think it's a challenge in of itself, yes, trying to paint everything in 12 hours.
Yeah,
I'm not confident in my abilities to do it yet.
I'm not sure if we can do it, but we'll see. But should we take a look at the built armies?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so let's do some movie magic. This is the armies.
Yeah, and the models themselves, I gotta say, your Terrorgeist looks amazing, primed and ready to leap into battle.
Yeah, I think it's a very cool model. It's not standing on its base yet, so it's a bit unstable. And if you're wondering why these are primed gray and this guy is primed white, it's because I'm gonna try to cheat a bit. I'm gonna use a bit of contrast paint, maybe on the wings, on the skeletal parts. To make this go a bit quicker, and I can get more focus on the fleshy parts here on the muscle stuff. And as you can see, I have my bases here. I prepared them with some just sand I glued on and then primed them. And if I have the time for it, I'm gonna paint these as well. And I've seen you painted and primed, or not painted, but you primed.
Yeah, I primed them. I've used a bit of a different primer color. I've tried this out on a couple of test models. I've gone for a bit of a greenish tone on my primer because I want to try out these contrast paints. I'm going to use Gryph-hound orange and Eden yellow to get a bell pepper color scheme going. I hope it's going to work out.
We could say that Jonas has a big love for chilies, so
yeah.
It's a lot of chili team with Jonas.
I'm hoping it's...
and I think it's going to be really cool.
I'm going to try to make them a bit more on the orange yellowish side, and then try to bring in some complement colors in blue where they have their arms or their flames coming out from the back. And I think I want to try something else.
But I'm a bit afraid that you're being too ambitious here in 12 hours.
We'll see. I have my hopes up.
But what are you most excited about painting, and what are you least excited? What are you worried about? What's the
I
worries?
have always a hard time painting rank and file. I'm gonna have a lot of demons to paint, so I have every demon as a non-mounted unit. So I'm gonna try to get the skin tones going, and then I hope I have some bit more time to go over the machines afterwards. Because I think this one, the skull cannon, there's so many bits and details on it. It's gonna be really time consuming.
Yeah, I can see that. This has me worried. This is a lot of details, but it's really cool. Really cool.
Yeah. What do you think? What are you the most looking forward to, and what do you think will be the time sinks? Where do you have to put in the most?
I'm really excited about these guys. I love painting skin color, and I have my zombie skin color kit here. They're a bit larger, so you can get like the tones with the muscles and all of that. What I'm most worried about, it's the same as you. It's the not the
like
dragon, but it's the rank and file. Because these guys actually have more details than you think, and it's easy to get like caught up in the details and spend a lot of time. They have the same amount of details, but they're like 1/5 the size. So I think it's easy to get caught up in that.
Yeah, and I hope to streamline the process a bit, and I hope that you can do the same as well, because it's gonna be like the things that are gonna go fast is gonna go really fast, and then we're gonna like stuck painting the details.
Yeah, I think so too, and you need to like deliver. You need to you need to put deadlines. Like, I need to have this done in 3 hours, and I need to have this done in 2 hours. Otherwise, you're gonna be spending too much time. And without further ado, I guess let's get into it.
Painting.
Yeah. So I'm gonna start with this Sandari dust, and I'm going to cover almost all of the model. I'm not gonna try to be as neat because I can go over it again. I'm gonna cheat with some contrast paints on the bone as well, so I'm just gonna slap it on there in the beginning. Make sure it's not too thick. I always find that difficult. People say like, yeah, you need to thin your paints, but it's not that easy to know like how much you should thin your paints. I think that's always very difficult, and it differs from paint to paint and maker to maker as well, so it's so difficult, but you get better and better with time, and like we said before, we're far from professional painters. Like, we're not gonna win any golden demons anytime soon. And like, people also talk a lot about brush control, like you should have good brush control and stuff, but like if I were a surgeon, everyone would die. I have the shakiest hands in the world. I never really understood how you can do it, like those precise things that people do. But
I think you're exaggerating a bit, but that's the point.
We're doing this for fun and because we like it. This isn't like how to paint a perfect army in 12 hours. Then you're gonna be disappointed.
But I just figured something out, Måns.
Yeah.
We can do a collab. Do you know those guys that do the eBay miniature rescues?
Yeah. Like we paint them and then we send it to him, and he can save them. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Yeah.
Could probably get the whole season.
That's cruel though. We're not that bad. I don't think we are.
Painted some of the yellow. Gonna go over these ones one additional layer afterwards, but I'm gonna move on to painting some more of the orange ones.
Yeah. I don't take care of my brushes.
I'm trying to improve on that part as well. I felt I was destroying so many brushes, and eventually they just frayed out, and I couldn't really use them anymore. But then I
should be better at taking care of my brushes. But I see it as cost of doing business. Or
yeah, that was probably a mistake I was making earlier as well. Trying to keep using my brushes for far too long, because a painting with a ruined brush isn't probably the best way of improving. But at the same time, I want to nowadays I want to take care of my brushes a bit more as well.
Yeah. You should do that as well, but if your brush is broken, it's broken. Let it go.
True. When I started out, I was basically using the same brush because I had one favorite brush, And I use my favorite brush for everything.
And I thought like
And
I
that's-
used way too small brushes as well.
Yeah, that was probably one thing I did as well. I thought like, okay, I want to be a detail painter. I want to use like
The smallest
the
brush
finest.
around. Yeah.
And it turns out that's not really the
No.
best way. Like,
As the more I paint, the bigger brushes I use, honestly, and I get better results as well, because it's easier to like get the proper amount of paint and water and stuff into the brush with a larger brush.
yeah, and
More
if you
control.
have like a decent mix in the paint brush, then you can also like the tip of the brush gets a bit sharper, I think.
Yeah. So bigger brushes. Size matters regarding brushes.
I'm kind of happy with this one. I feel like it's like the color.
I think that looks super cool. I have 4 more left to base coat.
Oh, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
9 left to base coat.
Are you confident still? Like, is 12 hour enough? Like, how much time should?
I don't know if it's enough. I think it's a bit too early to say. You're gonna notice when you get into the details, I think. That's gonna be the decider. Right now the base coat's feeling alright. Gonna see how it looks after I get some washes on these guys. That's probably also gonna go pretty quick. And you, how are you feeling?
Feels as if the war machines are gonna be really... I think I can manage the demons. One of the tricks that I'm using is having different colors for them. Just like fooling myself into thinking that there's more variety.
Yeah. But I think what you're saying there is quite important. Like, I'm not gonna end with my dragon. Like, that's not the last thing I'm gonna do, because I need to keep my energy up. And the last thing you want to do is that to take on such a big undertaking?
No, exactly. Like, and it's gonna be like a centerpiece when you play with it. So you want to have it looking good, and that means it should get the time it deserves as well.
Yeah, and if I end on that note, I'm probably gonna be a bit low on energy, and it's probably not gonna get the love that it deserves. And we talked a lot about strategy as well, like how we're gonna go about doing this with the base coats and one like doing batch painting. If anyone has any better ideas on how to do this, please.
Yeah, it would be
Please
really
comment,
like
yeah.
fun to read up on.
The most important part is that it looks good from a tabletop distance.
Mm.
Keep your expectations realistic.
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't say low, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, all the people who lick the pencils, I never understood that. People who eat.
Yeah.
So, now we have what are these called? Crypt ghouls. And I base coated them before, as you can see. And now I'm gonna put some Anthonian camo shade on them. You can use a lot of the shades, you don't have to hold back, but you should make sure that it's not pooling too much in certain places. But you don't
clean up some if
Yeah.
it's over.
You don't have to be super neat, but you don't want like big pools either. So I'm gonna start a bit with the dragon here. I've been undecided on what color I'm gonna use for the wings, but I've decided that I'm probably gonna go with some black contrast paint, and then I'm gonna try to dry brush some lighter colors on there to give them some character. I hope we can do like some narrative stuff in the future, but it's all about time. I mean, we have full-time jobs and we have families and yeah.
That said, like just bringing the whole YouTube aspect into the hobby, I think it's elevated everything to another level for me. Just in one of our battle reports, we had one guy from Italy, and just knowing that there are people out there watching your videos, like they are connecting, writing stuff for you to like communicate with. It's really, really fun. Like,
I feel like I needed the extra push. Like a lot of the time I didn't finish stuff and I didn't take the time for it. But when we have like we're planning a video and it's gonna be released, you have a deadline and that makes it so that you make sure that stuff are done. And that might sound weird, like why do we need the pressure to do something we like? But it's really easy to, even if you have something you like, to just get stuck in front of the television or whatever it is and you don't get it done.
I feel the same way. Like it's so easy nowadays to just procrastinate away important time. I feel like I need to put the X amount of time into like painting my models and like I need to get the video editing done in time. But even though it's more pressure and it means like having less free time, I feel like my free time is worth more now.
This is also free time, but it feels like it's productive free time.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you feel like you just wasted a day just watching Netflix and stuff, and I mean that stuff needs to be done too. You can't be like 100% productive all the time, but like wasting an entire day or an entire night doing that's like it doesn't feel that good. And we also get to hang out more, which is fun.
At times I feel like people online can be a bit harsh.
Yeah.
But when you can like appreciate the honesty, even if it's harsh, I think you can still learn from like such comments and like critique.
Just because they're, I guess, mean about it doesn't mean that they're wrong.
No, exactly.
They could have done it in a different way, maybe sometimes. I'm not talking. We haven't gotten any mean comments on our channel.
It can be like a bit short critique as well. Like this is wrong. It gives you like a point to like analyze from. There's this guy that goes into our battle reports. Big thanks to him. And he points out every rules mistake.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah, exactly, because that's like this is wrong, and he goes about it the right way. Like this is wrong. He gives like references to the rule books. Like look up this area, and that I'm learning from. So I'm super grateful for that kind of critique. I'm about happy with this. I think I need to go over this a bit more with the yellow layering paints, but all in all, I'm happy with my choice of primer, and I think that the contrast paints are fun. Do you think I should give them a proper red color tone? Like
maybe a dark red or something like that.
Yeah,
Do you have Khorne red? I think that's cool.
Yeah, I have like Mephiston. I could probably use that one. I'll go fetch it and then I'll start working on these ones. We've gotten a bit partways into our project.
Yeah, it's 12 o'clock right now. We started at about 9:30, so we're about 2.5 hours in. How are you feeling?
I feel it's a whole lot of work. I'm happy with the starting result of my demons. How do you feel about your vampire courts?
I feel pretty good. I've gotten the first base coat and a wash on all of my models, and I started with the wings on the dragon.
The dragon is gonna look so awesome.
Yeah, I think it's gonna look pretty cool. I was afraid I was gonna think that it was gonna be a chore, that it wasn't gonna be fun.
Yeah.
But so far I'm having so much fun.
Same here. I'm happy to finally starting this project. Like these are gonna be really, really fun to have on the battlefield.
Yeah, and as long as the feeling is like this, we should do this more times. We're not done yet, so maybe in like a few hours you'll hear us be all depressed.
I don't think so. I hope we have this mood going forward.
A lot of fun, and now we're going for lunch. Yeah. We're going to Frasses for those who are in the north of Sweden. So we'll see you after lunch.
Yeah, see you. What is your next step with your army?
I'm gonna start with the skin tone on these guys. The next step, the third step in making the skin tone. And this is the step that has me most worried. So, how about you?
I want to go into the base colors of these blood crushers, and I'm realizing that I'm gonna have a hard time figuring out which parts I have metal and which parts I want to have red.
Yeah.
So
I think it's gonna look super cool in the end. Anyway.
I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna try to get some paint onto them, and that's the most important part.
Yeah.
Getting them battle ready. Are you already in the making highlights?
No, this is like almost base. I'm just keeping the deep shadows. This is the step that has me worried the most when I can't spend that much time. This is usually the part where I spend the most time.
I feel I'm a bit behind. You have all your models have started to have paint on them, and I have 3 large ones that are still, or 4 large ones. This one isn't halfway done.
So now the skin is done on this guy. It wasn't exactly what I had planned, but given the time constraint we have, I don't think I get to be too nitpicky about it. I'm just gonna keep going.
So I still need to put colors onto my blood crushers and my skull cannon. 2 down and 2 more to go.
Things are taking shape.
More or less, but there's still a whole lot of painting to be done.
Alright, so since we saw each other last, I've been painting some of the skin tones, as you can see. I also did some eyes and some wraith bone on the bone parts, so I can touch them up with skeleton horde. They're not looking quite as good as I hoped, but I think before this is all over, I'm gonna be able to fix this up and be happy with it. So we're gonna start. I did some highlights to try it out on this guys, so I'm gonna do highlights on the other 2 first. Before we go into the wraith bone, and I'm using flayed one flesh for this. Alright, so now we're done with some simple highlights. I'm gonna use skeleton horde to pick out all the bone parts that I've already picked out with wraith bone. I think it gives a very simple and cool bone effect. Soon gonna be done with these guys.
But you have put in so much work on your guys. I have so much left. I'm starting to get my highlights going.
That looks really cool. How did you do the... No, it looks super good. I think it looks really good.
But I need to work on the metallic parts as well. I don't know if I have time for everything, but I wanted to get a good, fast mid-tone. I'm just using these 2 basically, and then mixing them together.
I think it looked super cool.
I just need to get things done. I think that's the main issue.
I think the guy looks really gruesome, like he was skinned alive and then just put I actually like how that turned out.
Yeah. And when you put him on the table and you look at him from above, it's gonna look really, really good. I really like when you get to have some pieces that pop. I'm gonna try to get some darker recesses and shade out edges a bit.
So here I'm just putting some PVC glue onto the bases and then dipping them in some green flock. And this is what I did for all my bases except for the dragon base. Keep going with the skeleton horde. I'm gonna need a lot of it, so I'm gonna take the big monster brush. If I didn't have the contrast paint, the skeleton horde, this would have been quite the undertaking, I must say. It would be really fun, like, to do like our own little stories.
Yeah, like a side project.
Yeah, build like our own like stories and like a story-based campaign. You are great at writing stories and
I think you. I feel bad each time you mention me. You try to put in something that I can't really.
I think you're selling yourself short.
But no, but it would be really fun to like get into the story writing, and you yourself as well. Like you want to get into storytelling and writing.
Yeah,
so.
Like a story-based. Campaign.
Press the subscribe button if you think we should do a story-driven campaign.
If it goes down. All jokes aside, this is a lot of fun, and we will do this anyway. But if you like stuff like this, please subscribe because it helps us out. And now when we have the 100 subscribers, as we said, we got this new studio, bought and paid for with its sweet YouTube money.
I just wish the studio had better air conditioning.
Yeah. That kind of sucks. We will be able to afford that when we reach 200, I think.
Yeah. Is there any other preparation you wish you had done beforehand, before we started?
Maybe I would have made a proper game plan. Like planned out the colors a bit more. I planned out the skin colors and the skin tones, but I never really gave that much thought to like the dragon. And, I see a lot of people who do this also have a dry brush. So we're a bit of a dry brush.
Airbrush?
Airbrush, yeah. Maybe I would have bought an airbrush.
As you said, like just getting the base colors onto each of the areas took its time.
Yeah, it took a lot of time, and I'm still not done.
Me neither. I'm still working on. Like I have so much red to paint still. There's not much left. I think I'm just gonna go over the dark areas once, and then I'm gonna go over to ones with an oil, and then I hope I can just have it as is.
Now I don't really feel the pressure that it's gonna have to be like perfect, if you know what I mean, because we're doing this as a challenge under the time pressure and according to a certain like set of rules, and I'm completing the models under that rule set. Which alleviates some of the pressure of them looking perfect. Yeah, if you know what I mean. Like
I understand exactly what you mean, because you can always paint another model another day, and just getting some models ready is good enough in of itself, I think.
Yeah, if you enjoy playing, then you need to get models on the table.
I basically just want to go over each of the areas where I think there's not enough color, just improve their saturation there. So I'm kind of happy with like a bit of unevenness. I just want primarily that they feel yellowish from a distance, and that there's some gradients, like some shades going. Like some of the areas, the contrast paint really did all the work for me. I'm happy to see my ideas come through, even though if it's not at the level that I kind of wanted.
We're about 6 hours in now, right?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put so you can see me. How are you feeling?
Feel like now I'm just putting paints onto the models. I'm not getting exactly the results that I'm after, but I'm getting results that I'm happy with, and that's.
Yeah. Like it's not perfect, but I'm not gonna be sad to put this on the table.
No. I looked at your like ghoul horrors, and especially from a distance with the grass and the terrain and the float gun.
From a distance, from a distance, they're right.
No, but
4 meters.
No. You're exaggerating. I'm actually really proud of it. Like your models, they're gonna look awesome, and like the blood splatter on top of them, they really make them pop on the battlefield. and I've seen your dragon. It's starting to take form, but
it's coming together. I'm using quite a lot of contrast paints. This project took a lot more time than I thought. I thought that we were gonna be able to do this in like 8 hours, like tops, but that's not gonna be possible, not at all.
It's tough.
Yeah, it's really tough, and I'm feeling some mental fatigue now, but I'm still in good spirits. It's still fun and all of that, but you get a little bit tired in your head. I'm definitely not against doing this again.
No, me neither. Do you have any favorite models, like some colors or something that you really enjoyed painting so far?
Yeah, I really liked this guy that I got put together, the back that I painted on him. With the blood of the blood god, and I really enjoyed that.
The purplish.
I really enjoyed that. You yourself?
For me, I think the blood crushers are fun to paint. There's a huge amount of details to them, but honestly, now that I'm back to painting these demons again, I'm getting to put the yellowish colors on them, and I'm appreciating that. Someone else looking at these models might not be super impressed, but they're really fun for me to paint.
Like we talked about this during the lunch break, like there's so much amazing people out there that you constantly compare yourself against.
Yeah.
And that's like that. I don't think that's a healthy thing to do. So I'm leaving now, going home to my house, eating dinner, and then I'll see you in 1 hour.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Bye.
Okay, so we're back at it again. Dinner eaten, pencils ready.
And I'm painting my ghouls here, using some skeleton horde on them. Maybe just like the final details after the skeleton horde. I have some like, maybe I'll do some eyes. They have some hair on them as well. I'm gonna paint. After that, I'm pretty much done with them. So this is like the leader or the command of the ghouls.
He has brought his own skeletal friend with him.
Yeah, he has his skeletal friend on his back. Let's see, now I'm gonna use this to paint all the hairs. They have like hair sticking out here on I don't know if you can see this. I'm gonna use this to paint their hairs. They have hairs on their back and their crotch. Yeah. I'm just gonna pick out all these little hairs. And I'm using Rhinox hide. And then I'm gonna highlight them with some Gorthor brown.
But you have basically finished a whole lot of them, right?
They're not entirely done.
Mostly done.
Yeah, I'm done with all the colors, but I need to go over them one more time with the Rhinox hide and the Ogren camo, because I see I missed a few places. But other than that, they're basically done. Yeah.
And I'm gonna try to finish up my Blood Reaper. Try to bring out some of his facial features. I don't know if I'll get into painting the eyes just yet, but this one I want a bit more detail on.
The zombie dragon is getting on his base right now. I didn't prepare his base like I did with the others, so I get to improvise a bit here.
Means you have something going for you. Oh, nice.
I'm gonna let him dry for a while before I keep
That's
going.
a super menacing pose.
Yeah.
This one. If I had known how much easier it were to paint these ones, I would have saved all the yellow for another day. Because this one, it's just, I went over them with the contrast paint.
Yeah.
And now I'm just highlighting basically some few parts.
So it was a lot easier now.
A lot easier. And I don't know if I think the army looks cooler. So if anything, I should give myself some points for having those yellow guys included. It actually made the whole experience a bit more fun.
So now we're giving out extra points?
No, not extra points, but I'm giving myself
I'm just
credit for...
Yeah. I think you should have credit too. You experimented quite a lot today. So with these final brush strokes on these three, this unit is completely done. It's only the dragon left. I think if you're smart, if you're looking to paint this dragon, don't build all of it before you start painting. You're gonna have a bad time. It's difficult to find, difficult to reach in all the places. I'm putting some Stirland Battlemire on the base.
I'm really impressed that you're gonna realistically be able to finish. You just need to be careful so you don't get anything on the model itself.
Yeah, I'm basically done at this point, to be honest. This is definitely not gonna take all the time that's left. I just need to, as you said, be a bit careful here. And with that, I have to say that I'm done.
Done. Oh, and so I have basically less than half an hour on me.
Yeah, so in 11 hours and 37 minutes, I had 23 minutes to spare.
I think we know whom is the winner if we're
if we weren't really competing, but
at the same time we kind of always are competing.
Yeah, we are, I guess. But it was a challenge, as we said in the beginning, and in that aspect, I guess I made it.
And you made it with style.
I guess the comment section will have to be the judge. Do these look like they were painted by a 5-year-old, or do I get a pass? But I did as good as I could with the time that we have. I really did. I'm super dirty, just in time. But I feel happy. When you look at these armies, when we showcase them, would any of you be happy to have these on the table? Or are they good enough for tabletop standard? That is the question, I guess. And looking at the time now, it's 8:40 p.m. It's so warm in here, you can't even imagine.
Yeah, it's really, really warm.
Yeah. And I don't know if you can see, but it's 8:30 in the night and the sun is still up. The sun is shining right in here. In the summers, in the Swedish north, the sun basically never sets.
Yeah.
We started at 8:30 a.m. this morning, so it's 12 hours and 10 minutes since we started.
For me, sorry to say, I didn't really get as far as I had hoped for. Big respect to all of the people that managed to pull this off in less hours as well.
yeah, I've seen people do it in 8 hours, and to a higher standard than I managed to achieve today. So
I don't think I would have been able to finish if I had had the full 24 hours.
If it's the first time you run a marathon, you probably don't know which speed you're supposed to keep to last the entire time. And I think that's the problem here as well.
I think you had the right mindset. You were putting paints onto the models. I thought I was doing it as well. I kind of got stuck in my the game plan I had. I wanted to keep it simple, I thought, but even though I think you were still faster with the brushstrokes, because knowingly or unknowingly it really benefited you from doing that as well.
Yeah, I think I got into a good start and a good pace, and I benefited a lot from this army being ghouls. If they're a bit discolored and weird, that only looks good.
Yeah,
you can get away. Yeah, you can get away with a lot of stuff you don't get away with on the demons.
I'm really pleasantly surprised about the results of some of them.
I think these look really good. But
and just trying something. It wasn't any preset recipe. I just thought that I'm gonna prime them with this color, test a few test models, and I kind of was happy with the nuances of color and the saturations. I thought this is what I'm gonna use, and then I tried to follow it through until the end.
a lot of fun, and the time just flew. Like before lunch, we just started painting, and then it was lunch. And then after dinner, like the hours just disappeared. It was crazy. It feels like I've been here like 2 or 3 hours. It's been 12 hours.
Yeah.
It's like being caught in some weird
time.
Time
twilight
trap.
area.
Yeah, we're gonna come out and have a like aged because time goes so fast in here.
Going back into the painting itself.
Yeah.
If I would do this again, this is something I would include. And is there anything that you wouldn't do again?
I would have liked to spend more time on these guys. They look good as a unit, but if you pick them up and look at them, I'm not really.
Okay, the time spent being.
But I'm not
quicker.
sure like how I would have been able to paint this quicker. But I feel like this would have deserved a bit more love. It would be fun to do with like another kind of army, because I think maybe this, of all the start collecting boxes, this is probably the easiest choice, isn't it?
I don't know. I think it was. I think you had a real challenge as well. I don't think that necessarily, if we would have switched boxes, I don't think I would have a completed army. So I think you really pulled through.
But I think like a lot of people who do this, they have an airbrush. And if I would have had an airbrush here, things would go so much quicker. It is not like an airbrush solves all the problems. You need to learn how to use an airbrush and stuff like that. But if you're proficient with an airbrush, I think you can save a lot of time. But would you do anything different if you got to do it again? Would you still have chosen this box? Would you still do it the same way?
Yeah, I kind of want the demon armies. I would probably have skipped the yellow. I would have just gone with one color for everything. Realistically speaking, I should probably have picked one color for the mechanical units as well, the mounts and the skull cannon. Keep it as a few colors as possible, like one primary and one secondary color, and then like one metallic, and then just go ham.
But like general, like I know you, and like everything you do, you want to, you make it very like complex, and you take it very far. With all good intentions, but sometimes it becomes a bit too big and time consuming.
Naive.
Yeah, like when we're editing videos and some like effects you want to do, it's like really great. The idea itself is great, but it's quite hard to do logistically. And you're like that with a lot of things. It's the grand ideas and
time management isn't one of my.
Yeah, it's not like you can't pull these ideas through. You definitely can, but a bit of a
mess.
You're not that great maybe at the time management side.
I would agree.
If you like this video and the stuff we made today, please leave a comment, like, subscribe.
Let us know. It's always like fun to read. Amazed that people from so very many places are willing to like give us feedback and just interact.
And we're not mainly a painting show. We're gaming. We're a gaming channel. We just did this for fun, so we could get a new army on the table.
Yeah,
but if people like this, I could definitely do this again in a few months. Let's take a closer look, I guess.
Sure.
So unfortunately, the footage that we took of both the armies the same night as we painted turned out really dark and grainy, so we couldn't really use that. So the footage we have here is from 1 week later. The only thing that has changed since then is that Jonas has added some blue colors to his weapons. Otherwise, the armies are exactly the same and unchanged.
This is all from us at the Miscast table. It's been a fun night of painting. See you all next time.